Good morning, everybody. Here for another read. So it's something special today. Um, just, just let me show you. See this guy here? This is not just anybody. This is somebody I met today. Well, I met. This is one of my spirit guides here. I was on my walk today. I went and did my meditation. I went to this special spot, and I'm going to talk about that as well in the reading, because I've actually pulled a few cards already this morning, but I've left them here because it just followed actually my whole experience for the morning, right? So anyway, this place that I frequent, like for meditation and connecting with the ancestors and spirit guides, and this is an ancestor here, right here, and he's ancient. And anyway, there's this particular spot that I go to, and he's come to me very, very many times, and just said that he's been here. He's ancient. He's been here thousands of years, and he would just say that, but never revealed himself. And then this morning, and I was just sitting on this rock in this spot, and I got a message saying I just got wiped from my mind, just right there. What was I not supposed to say? Right? I'm sorry. Okay, so there was something there that I wasn't meant to say, right? Because it just shut me down. Anyway, this particular spot. And there was this little, oh, that's right. I got a message saying, it was just there, and then it just left again. Don't play with me. And they just said that they would move something, so I would know that they were there, right? Anyway, but when I was walking, when I was walking to this spot, I just walk along and just connect and, open my mind. And anyway, there was all these kangaroos on the path, big mobs of them, like there was heaps. And normally they would just flee, like when you come into the vicinity. This time, they hopped away, but it was very relaxed. Like it wasn't like gone. It was like just hop away a little bit and then stopped, and let me walk through. But they were relaxed, much more than normal. And the other day I was on my walk, and there's this particular kangaroo, this big red one. This is who he is here. And he said, I'm going to show myself to you. And this was on a different path, but in the same area, right? And so I made myself, open to receive, to seeing. And then to the left of me, just boom, was this big boy here. He was probably about 100 meters away, and he just sitting there. And then he went, yeah, that's me. And I was like, wow, it was very, 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 and of course he said that he'd been here. He's ancient, right? Been here a long time. Anyway, And the other thing is that, you know, like the big red kangaroos are from more up north area. Down here is normally like the blue kangaroo. So this particular kangaroo is there amongst the blue kangaroos. So there's something significant about that. And my roots actually come from where the red kangaroo comes from, further up north. Anyway, so I met him in the physical, like, or he revealed himself to me in the physical. And then, anyway, this morning when I was on my walk, and the kangaroos were all there, right? And there was like big family of them, and they just like gently parted. They didn't just, you know, hop away fast. And so I thanked him for that, and then I went through the path and I got guided to actually go and sit on this spot where sometimes I often sit. And it was there, and I was just sitting quietly and being open to listening, right? And that was when he, or Spirit, said to me that it was going to move something, allow me to see. And then there was this little willy wagtail, little chitty, and he just came in real close and then just flew at me, and then, you know, it was like, like close and then out of the way. But it was almost like in slow motion at the same time, like to make it obvious that Spirit was there. And then I was like, oh, well, yeah, so I acknowledged that connection. And then I was turned to my left, and there he was, right? He was right there again, and he was just, he was so close. And there he was. It's exactly like this. And I painted this a few years ago. Anyway, he's sitting there, and it was like, oh wow, and I was just like, wow, like he's just, because he's like the biggest out of this. Well, he's always on his own when I see him. Anyway, and he was probably about 20 feet away. And I don't know why I didn't even see him coming. It wasn't like I didn't see him coming. It was just like he was there, right? It was just like boing, and there he was, right? But it might have been when I was focusing on the bird, and when I turned, and there he was right there. And then he just sit there, and he's just sitting there looking at me like this, exactly like this, right? And then he goes, yeah, I've been here. I'm from ancient times, is what he said to me, like telepathically, right? And he said, don't disrespect us. And so that was the message. And I just went, wow, I am never going to eat kangaroo again. I'm not. I'm never going to eat kangaroo again. It was, and he just went, and I said that out loud, right? And he just said yes. That was the message. He came, but he also then just, he just made it known to me that he wasn't afraid, and I was probably more afraid than he was. He was just like, and then he just sort of like very relaxed, just pulled himself closer, and he just started to come closer to me. And then he just stopped and sat again. You know how they sort of put their arms out and they just like move a little slow like that. And he just came closer to me, and he's looking at me like the whole time. And then he just turned his head and just ate some grass, and it was almost as if he was saying, I'm cool with this, you know what I mean? It was like he was relaxed enough to act with me, but being so close like that, or he came to me, right? It wasn't like I was trying to go to him, I was just sitting there. He came to me, and it was like he's saying, I'm cool with you. And he said, just respect us. And that, you know, like, and then he sat there for a bit. You know, we were sitting there looking at each other and talking to each other like telepathically for about 10 minutes. It was very, very powerful energy, but he's an energy that's been with me for a long time. And he's often up there. He's in, you know, he turns up there. He turns up on this side of the river, and up on this hill, and also down in this other area where I've seen him. But this was the first time he actually it was the second time he actually, but this time he came to me closer. You know, it was like he came to me to let me know that he was most definitely there for me, you know. Anyway, it was awesome, absolutely. Anyway, now let's get to the reading, right? Because this is pretty cool as well. Now, now here we have accomplishment, right? And these spots here, so this is where the top of the hill here, I often go there to make contact with the Holy Spirit, with my ancestors, right? And now bear in mind, I'm not from this area as well, I'm from further up north, but so is he, right? But he's come to meet me at this, and this place is very significant, and there's a lot of, like it's like the top of this hill is like, and look, it's here, right? There's a gateway, and it's like all this quartz that sits on the top of this hill. Quartz, white, pure white quartz is like a very strong magnetic like a conductor, like a message conductor, right? So, you know, like between, so that area and being on top of this, it's like a portal, right? See there? I've been guided to say this, like, because I'm thinking, yeah, no, I'm being guided to say this, because this is what people need to realize, that we have these, see these here, these are different points on this path, or different, and these are paths between these points, where there is, you know, like it's a connection point, where we tune in to our, we tune into the ether, we tune into God, we tune in with our ancestors, because God speaks through them as well, right? And these are ancient ancient ancestors here. My curtains just blowing out, speaking. Thank you. Here is the accomplishment. Reaching that understanding that, you know, this is the higher frequency. This is the highest frequency. The 33rd degree, the highest vibration. So the message is the return to country. This is a message for those watching and that are tuning into this. This message here is a message for you to return to country. And for me, I've got to follow the ancient ancestor, right? That's the message. And then we have a windfall. This is the place where the portal is to the ancestors. This message is for specific people, persons. That's the individual, right? But this is for the individual, this is for the collective, this is for the, for those that are on that highest frequency, that have reached this highest frequency, you know, the highest ability. Alright? The portals. If you're tuning into this message, this is for you. And here's the truth, right? This is like Archangel Michael's sort of truth. That's the windfall, is the truth. That's the blessing, that's the windfall. And look, see, on this image here, where there's these, it's like, these are like the stages, the portals that we have to go through to get to the highest frequency. And down here, these tests like portals. So you can see these portals here on the ground, on the plane here. And there's a lot of blue here. Oh look, I'm wearing the same colour. The blue is significant with it. It's the emotion. The emotional, the windfall. This is like this is the sword of truth. But these portals, these are the lessons of the portals. So the trials and tribulations that you have to go through to actually make it to the top here, to the highest frequency. That's the truth here. I hope you're hearing me, because I haven't got the microphone on. I'd actually just forgotten. But I hope I'm loud enough. I'll just get the microphone now, okay? Just a minute. Sorry, I hope you've heard me so far, you know. What's going on here? Hello? Well, that's weird. Is the power on? Yes. Why is it not working? That's weird, right? No, it's not submitted. I'm going to put that aside. Yeah, this is a message that's not meant to get out, or is it a message that I believe this message is meant to actually get out there. Now, when I placed these cards just now, let me show you something that's going on here. This is cool. Now, when I first laid these cards, this card, the highest vibration, and the windfall card, the portal, the truth sword, was this way around, right? Then, when I just put them down again, I put them this way, and this makes so much sense to me. So the windfall is the truth, right? To reach this truth, there has to be a return to country, return to the earth, return to the roots, right? Makes sense. And in returning, we have to follow these paths and experience each one of these portals along the way, right? So we're walking across country, led by our ancestors here. Thank you. His face up there is exactly the same as the kangaroo that I've seen up there. I hope you can hear me, but his face is exactly the same. He is here. So these portals have to be followed each step of the way. You can't jump forward, you know what I mean? Even though this is awkward because it's not like in a straight line. So there's, you know, like there's a path, and it's almost like this is like going around in circles and not getting to the top. So we've got to find our way to get out of that circle and reach the top. Alright? This message is for somebody here, or some bodies. This is many. Where things are at the moment is we're going around and around in a circle because of the confusion. Now, the bottom of the deck I have confusion, and that's in a circle, and this is the bloodlines, the confusion in the bloodlines, and not knowing where you've come from, right? Because of the story that we've been telling all this time. And this caused so much sadness because there's a saboteur here. A binding, look. See how this person, and you can see this here, this darkness is a binding around the root chakra. So that's binding the root chakra to be blocked. And it's stopping the flow. And this is why we've got all this darkness down here. It's been, so the root chakra has been bound by, you know, like the confusion of the bloodlines. And with sex magic being the tool for the confusion, and that which is, you know, like directed towards the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and you know, that ability to, you know, like that's, you know, where the womb is, and that's where, you know, the bloodlines are merged, and they've been confused. So this is why this path but this is also like, this is like the grid that connects everything together, like the crystalline grid, right? These are the significant spaces to get to the highest frequency. But see, they've been confused, and a lot of these areas, the crystalline grid and those particular portals, they're sacred areas, right? They have been like broken down, and I realised that this morning with a particular spot, which is one of these important spots had been like a long time ago, like bulldozed aside, like, and there've been people like digging in the ground, like there's these little holes dug up everywhere, you know, people looking for gems in this area, and that's it's adding to the confusion, because the crystalline grids are, you know, like needing to be, you know, like they're kind of like this, you know, but there's a center to the portal to the higher realms. The Spirit's saying this is the truth. And this is the windfall. This is the understanding. The windfall is the understanding. And that's the accomplishment. By returning to country, returning to the original country, where the bloodline has come from, but we've got to move, and this is like the womb here, love. So this needs to be healed. This is like the sacral and the root chakra, the love, and that also holds the abundance. You know, like, because your abundance, your mind of, you know, like when that's blocked, it's when your root chakra is blocked, your money flow is blocked, so your abundance is blocked. So you end up with that mentality of lack, right? So when your root chakra is infected, then your ability to create is affected, because that then goes and affects your, so from the root chakra, then that goes affects the sacral chakra, which is your creativity, and your solar plexus chakra, and your ability to procreate. Now, in our earlier times of settlement, and with the churches and the missions set up, and the mixing of the bloodlines and the stolen generation, that was understood and purposefully bound the root chakras, the roots of, and caused the confusion in the bloodlines and created much sadness. So going on a path back to the return to country, right, and finding that path, we find the portal to the root chakra to heal, and that will bring back the balance. But this is challenging, right? But it's an adventure, and we need to move with compassion, and it will bring freedom. But we've got to move in love. Otherwise it will be forever bound. It will be forever bound and chained. If there is no compassion and no love, then this will always be bound, and there will be no love. You understand? This needs to be freed. And that comes, and that's the key, right? The compassion and the love will open that binding, that will break that bond, that bound, the bound roots, you know. It'll unlock, somebody didn't want me to talk, it's affecting my throat. It'll unlock the freedom, right? We've got freedom here. And open to friendship. And look, open to wealth. With self-respect. No more illusions. We have victory from the deception. We find the earth sun. We find our roots in the earth. That's returning to country. And we meet by meeting, so by meeting Father Sky, this is the Holy Spirit, this is God, Father Sky, right? This is the universe. It's the windfall, because we reconnect with this high vibration portal, and then we can reconnect with the Holy Spirit and the ancestors. The ancestors help us to reconnect with God, Father Sky. Holy Spirit, wow. This is very deep, right? This is a very important message. Here we have the justice. Wow, I am feeling this energy, like, oh gosh. Okay, so let's now have a look here. Right. So on this journey, so let me freshen up my hands. Here we go. I know what I need to do next. Spirit's talking to me through my ancestor here, and here he is. as the King of Wands. All powerful. See him? You can see that spirit. You can see that spirit in that King of Wands, and he's guiding and giving us this message to move forward with passion. This is him moving. It's like the kangaroo jumping, but he's a horse, but you know, same energy. Moving with passion over country. Returning to country, and that is the windfall and the abundance. Here's where the abundance is. This is the windfall. Returning to country. Returning to country. The movement forward. Returning to the roots. Understanding the connection to the earth is important, but see, our matrix, our society that has bound us, has kept us, you know, like it's worked to separate us from the earth and separate us from nature, and to be able to be sovereign, That was the whole point, right, of the whole settlement across the world, is to keep us bound to this system and you know, like, so we've got to break free by returning to our roots. And this is where the abundance lies. This is where the wealth is. But you see this powers that control, you know, like the dark forces, the dark powers that are controlling all of society, or the empire, the dark empire that's worked to hold us within that system and not be independent, because they've broken us away from the land. They've stopped us to learn how to live with the land and eat the food that comes naturally from God, and live closely like that. I mean, that was the whole point, and that's why they put everyone in the missions, and they infected the bloodline so that they could take, you know, that they had the, well, they believed they had the right to take the children that were crossbred, and that was the whole point of the crossbreeding program, was to outbreed and separate the next generations from the ground itself, where their roots are. So the further away we get from the reality of the connection to Mother Earth, Ma, we call Ma, then they're more power, then they can, you know, so if we don't have a connection and we make the material and the money more important than the earth, then it separates us from that more and more, and that way those powers can exploit the resources and destroy these portals, which is the crystalline grid, right? So the more we have no knowledge of this, so if we're losing the knowledge of this, you know, like, you don't see the importance of protecting that. because this is where you get closer to your ancestors in the ether, you know, those that have passed, and God. Connecting to your ancestors connects you also to God. They're all there, they're not gone, they're there watching everything you do. So, you know, you'd be judged for that. You'd be judged for every action you take, because they're watching. They're watching, and they showed me a few things this morning. You know, there's been a lot of people that have been losing their and you know, there was a couple of people that spoke. There was actually 3 different people spoke to me. Spirits speaking to me this morning that had taken their lives due to mind control, because of the system of mind control, which is MK Ultra. It's all tied in with this. And they showed me visuals, you know, like of what happened. There's those that were actually executed in that way, you know, by hanging. And there's those that were, and more to the now, right, because they've really got into the heads of these generations. They've got right into the heads of these generations, where more and more people will take their own lives. And what's really disturbing is that people are taking their lives in that particular way, and that's something that I find really strange. Why is that dominant way for people to be taking their lives? My ear's ringing in the left at the moment. The struggle, they told me that they call it neck torture, and it's a struggle. But if so, the binding of the root chakra, binding of the, you know, like that knowledge of country where people have come from. See if you can follow the crystalline grid, you can follow and find and be guided to where your roots are. And there's something about the neck torture and that and this is like the binding. The 4 of Pentacles here is the binding, the lack of understanding, the lack of, you know, always searching, because they break those grids that keeps us to be bound also. Like what I'm getting here is like, see these are the crystalline nodes, and I'm seeing these nodes here being held by this crow, and they're being bound, like the knowledge is not being released for the people to actually find their way to the reward here, so it's purposely been designed to stop people from being able to find their highest, you know, like make that connection with the highest, their highest selves. which is the highest vibration of themselves. That's the disassociation process with what happened, which was actually orchestrated. It wasn't like just happened accidentally. It wasn't. It was orchestrated and known about. And a lot of these main nodes, these portal areas, had been destroyed because they knew about it, and then they mine these areas and that. A lot of mining companies go in and just wipe them out. And if you're working for the industries, like ignorantly, not understanding what's going on here, not understanding what's going on. It's not just about like taking the resources. It's about taking you away from the Holy Spirit. See? And it's blocking that ability to move forward. We've got the Wheel of Fortune here. So with this, so Spirit's saying, and then we've got the Hermit. So with this here, we got, we've got the King of Wands here, right? This is the King of Wands, moving forward to this windfall, this Ten of Pentacles here is the node, where the node is, right? To release that from this bind, and that's bound like with the crown, like the portals are bound by the crown land, So they can move in whenever they like. That's why they can move in any way, anytime they like, and take the resources. Sorry, we'll let that go. Gangs, that's like, that is like now what do I say, the crown, and then I'm saying gangs. What's the word? Covens. They're holding those positions. And more, right, that more and more preventing the access to these areas. They fence them off, they cut off the access to these areas. So moving forward, but anyway, like on an individual level, this is where we move forward first, is going within, and to get this movement forward with the Wheel of Fortune, going within here, and this is like gaining the knowledge by going within in this energy of love for oneself. So the Hermit is being like managing the self. So we manage the self, and you manage. So if you manage yourself, that guides you to the crystalline grid. There, look, there's the guide with that light there. So this is what we're getting here, like return to country. By returning to the self first. So you've got to go in and hear the guidance from the ancestors to take you on the correct direction. Because and that's where the wealth is, because that's what the intention was to, where is that card? The intention was to, you know, confuse the bloodlines. So the only way that can be unconfused, because this keeps us in this energy of lack, right, with sadness here. So finding is the achievement to find the correct path. Just one moment, I've got to pause. Okay, I'm still here. So the going within, gaining balance here, guided by, which we find by going within, right? So this is the challenge. This is the challenge, is to go into this energy here of the self, and the self, the root chakra. So we need to do energy healing here to get the energy flow within the self. Breaking this bondage here with the Four of Pentacles. And then that'll take us to here, the higher self. Release, breathe in. So that's the first step. Follow this path. This path. The first chakra. There's the beginning here. Look, see this? There. Right? Root chakra. And the sacral. Right? Get to this higher energy. That's the higher energy. See? There. That's the first step. First step, the first hop. The first step, listening to this one. going within, moving forward. So I'm going to leave it there. Please like, share and subscribe. You can donate if you wish. These readings are free. My beautiful ancestor. Anyway, yeah, you may donate. Oh look, I want to say thank you to those that have donated. Really, really, really appreciate it. It really, really helps me move forward as well. And just, yeah, to be sovereign, right? So that's the goal for myself, to get to the higher self is to be sovereign and going within. So we've got to find that balance of love within the self, and that will release us from that bind of the pentacles, release and get that flow happening with the wheel of fortune. But one has, and that's the guide, there's the spirit guide right there, there's the ancestor guiding forward with the light. Alright? But you've got to go within, in this energy of the self, loving the self, to get the flow, right? Get the flow, and then it'll be relieved and returning, and we get that flow, and you know, through actually connecting and being in nature, and then you get the messages, right? From the you get the messages from the ancestors and from God, because God flows through everything. God created everything, right? Everyone, every spirit, everything. Even the ancestors. The ancestors of the highest degree, of the highest frequency, of the highest energy, the highest authority ancestors, because we have some low vibrational ancestors as well, right? But we follow the higher ancestors energy, with the highest frequency, you know. Being mindful of that, you know, you don't want to be going following your ancestors that are on a lower level. You know, these are the ones that have ascended to the higher degree of the spirit of love and care. And that's not just for, so you go from the self, so that has to come from the self first, the hermit, and that moves us forward. But then, you know, like everything around us, everyone around us, moving forward, you know, we have to get that element of care. That's, you get that moving into the highest frequency. Just operate on that level, you know what I mean? And that will balance everything out. It's a decision to, this is the first step. Return. Move forward. And you'll receive the real abundance. And that connection, and that's the connection to God and the Holy Spirit. No playing around in any darkness. This is what causes the confusion. You know, all that sex magic and, you know, like crossing, you know, like lines and boundaries and energetic boundaries of others. One has to return to the self and, you know, like heal, to produce the energy within the self rather than sourcing that energy from others. That's what creates this broken and confused state, because you're crossing others, and bringing other people's energy into your energetic field. This is not standing alone here. This is like three energies in this one energetic field. So you lose the self. So going back to the self, the singular, the single, that's the hermit. Going back to the self, healing. Because you see this guy, right? You only see him on his own. Like you got the whole. I don't know what you call a group of kangaroos when they're all together and they're all running together. But he's like the sole leader, right? Because he's got the highest energetic frequency, and that's what makes him the leader and the guide. Because he's of the highest frequency and he stands alone. Because he's totally in tune with himself. It's bringing him back to center. Understanding who you are by healing that root chakra with love. To become unbound. Because otherwise you're bound to others. See, this energy, this is bound. These people are standing on top of each other. That's been crushed. It's been bound to others. So if you can stand alone in the hermit, you can actually become the guide. And sit in that higher frequency and powerful, strong, like our highest ancestors, our highest degree ancestors, our highest frequency, our highest selves, And the only way we can do that is to ground ourselves and be close again to finding our roots by returning to the country, discovering the nodes, the crystalline grid, and the portals to the higher realms. This is where black magic sits, lowly, and that's like, sadness and challenges and, binding and unhappiness and jealousy and, all those negative frequencies, the lower frequencies. Anyway, please like, share and subscribe. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I'm going to do another reading on our story of the Breaking Generational Curses story. I'll go back to that, but this is all tied into it as well, right? Because this is where the story starts with the curse. We call it curse. I was listening to somebody else on YouTube today talking about there is no curse. And there's not, in the sense of, like if you're aware of this binding situation of the past, because it was a real reality, but, to break us away from the curse is being broken away from our roots and our knowing of who we are, breaking us away from Earth in general, that's breaking us away from our roots. So anyway, that's where the story started, and then we're following the confusing of the bloodlines, and I'm going to keep following that story for a bit to get to, you know, like to the now, all right, and see, you know, how that's going to take us. But it looks like it's already happening here, right? So we're already getting the messages. It's just reinforcing it, and so that it can be understood more. Okay, I'm leaving it there. Have a lovely day. My day, I'm having a good day, especially since I've had, you know, like been allowed to see my highest ancestor, other than God, of course. But this is the path to God, right? It's the path. So anyway, I'll leave it there. Have a lovely day. Bye.